All right, and I just wanted to introduce our two presenters. So a State College, Pennsylvania native, Hope Bodenschatz will complete her integrated graduate program in the spring of 2021. Which is this May. So she'll be graduating with a MA in economics and a bachelor's degrees, in economics, geography, and political science, along with an undergraduate minor in sustainability leadership. She is a Paterno Fellow, and Hope has served the College of the Liberal Arts as a network assistant for the Career Enrichment Network, a guided study group leader for Econ 102, and a liberal arts ambassador. She served as a leader of Penn State's Empower Orphans chapter and coordinator of Center Pact, a local project supporting philanthropic efforts by high school students. She also participated in the Women in Economics Society and the Penn State International Affairs and Debate Association. And Hope has also worked as a research assistant for 4 academic research teams in economics and geography at Penn State. She studied abroad in Tanzania with Penn State's Parks and People program as well. So if there's anything that sounds interesting to you, you'll want to reach out to Hope. She can maybe answer some questions about some of those groups that she's been a part of. And Casey Sennett is a junior from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, also local, triple majoring again in anthropology, Jewish studies, and history with a minor in classics and ancient Mediterranean studies. She currently serves as the president of the Liberal Arts Ambassadors, the Professional Development Chair of Lion Ambassadors, and is a member of the Paterno Fellows Student Advisory Board and Schreier Ambassadors. Whew. Casey also works as a network assistant in the Liberal Arts Career Enrichment Network, as a mentor in the Undergraduate Speaking Center, and as a research assistant for Dr. Eric Fleisch. This summer, she will be interning with the Jewish Cultural Historical Museum in Wilhelmstad, Curacao. So welcome to both of you. We thank you for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule as the semester begins to join us. So I will give it off to you guys and get your presentation ready.
Right. Yeah, just as we get the PowerPoint pulled up. Hi, everyone. I hope you all are having a fantastic Monday. Get excited. It's week 2. I know we can all do this. But yeah, just as we get the PowerPoint pulled up, though, as we begin our presentation, we would love to hear from you all and kind of learn a little bit more about yourselves. So if you feel comfortable, we would love to see if you could maybe put your name, year, or major in the chat, just to kind of see some interaction and be able to see who all is with us.
Everybody,
yeah, if you want to go to the next.
Okay, all right, good. I was gonna say, make sure you can see the presentation.
You're good. Yeah, we can see the presentation. Yeah, if you just want to go to the next slide. But yeah, so yeah, if you just want to introduce yourselves in the chat, name, class, major, anything else fun that you feel like throwing in there. And then we'll also be launching a Zoom poll momentarily as well, that we would just love to get an understanding of where everyone is in terms of your career development. So we have a Zoom poll that'll be asking about, do you know what your dream job is? Whether it's yes, no, maybe, I have no idea. And you know, all answers are welcome here. We just kind of want to get a gauge for everyone. Yeah, it looks like yes and maybe are currently in the lead. We'll see who wins though. All right, and we'll just take a couple more seconds for everyone to put in their answers. So for anyone that just came in, if you could just answer the Zoom poll. All right. So it looks like most of you kind of have an idea of what your dream job is. If not, you kind of have somewhat of an idea, but there's a couple of you that don't know, and you know, that's totally okay as well. And then if you want to go to the next slide. So thank you all for participating. And then I also see people putting stuff in the chat. So thank you so much also for doing that. So just to kind of give you all a brief overview, Our presentation today will be covering the different resources available within the Career Enrichment Network, as well as Nittany Lion Careers. And we will also be demystifying career readiness and sharing some career to-dos at Penn State as well. And throughout our presentation, if you have any questions, please put it either in the chat or Q&A box, and we'll get them answered throughout the presentation. So there's really no separate Q&A portion. We're here to answer questions whenever you have them. So feel free to just throw them in either the Q&A or chat box throughout the presentation. And if you want to go to the next slide. And now that you all know what we will be talking about today, we do have a task for you all to complete if you're up for the challenge. So during the presentation, we ask that you all write down a career-related goal that you want to accomplish, and then throughout the presentation, develop 4 career development action steps that you can take this semester to help you reach your goal. So each of those action steps should build upon each other to kind of help you reach that ultimate goal. And just to keep in mind, a 2015 study from Harvard Business found that people with goals are 10 times more likely to be successful than those without goals, and those with written goals are even 3 times more likely to be successful than those without written goals. So if you learned anything from today, definitely write your goals down because you're more likely to be successful about it. So keep that in mind when you're writing your current and future goals, whether career related or not. But then also when you're developing your goals, just be sure to consider kind of what we're talking about and how the Career Enrichment Network and other resources at Penn State can really help you reach that goal throughout the semester. And then I think I saw a question here. Can you give an example of a career development goal? So that is a really good question. I think it can really depend for everyone, but maybe say if anyone out there maybe doesn't have a summer internship, maybe your goal could be that you want to get an internship. So some of your goals could be maybe meeting with someone in the Career Enrichment Network to be able to talk about internships or like maybe opportunities. And then maybe your second step could be looking on Nittany Lion Careers to see what opportunities are out there. And then maybe another step could be applying to X number of internships, or maybe even reaching out to an alumni that works somewhere that you're interested in. So it can be something very basic as just as getting an internship, or maybe if you're also a junior or senior looking for, maybe your grad school program or anything like that. So that's sort of an example, but it's all up to you of whatever your goal might be.
All right. So it's great to see so many of you here today. I was really enjoying watching everyone introduce themselves in the chat. Another thing too, just to follow up on what Casey was saying about the career development goal, when we get toward the end of our presentation today too, we're going to kind of list some different, we call them sort of career to-dos, but they're sort of little goals that you can, it can kind of help you to build up to an ultimate goal. So that's definitely something that, I think starting incrementally can help to make progress on something that seems like a really big overall goal. And I think so later on in the presentation, you'll see more similar to what Casey was suggesting in career development goals, other things that maybe you want to try to do this semester. So on this slide, I just wanted to give you a general overview of what the Career Enrichment Network offers in terms of services. And so one of the big things that the Career Enrichment Network does is offer career coaching. So that's something where you can set up an appointment, a one-on-one appointment with one of our career coaches and get specific help related to liberal arts majors and to career opportunities available specifically to liberal arts majors. And so that's something we'll talk about a little bit later, how exactly you'll do that. But along with that, helping to get an internship or a full-time job or part-time job, that's another thing that the Career Enrichment Network can help you with. And particularly, we'll drop the link into the chat, but the Career Enrichment Network has set up a Get Hired website for you guys that is particularly helpful if you're doing an internship or job search in the COVID-19 pandemic, since obviously the world has changed a lot. They have compiled a lot of really helpful resources for particularly looking in when we're virtual. Study abroad experiences is another area where the Career Enrichment Network can help you. they have a lot of helpful information on the Career Enrichment Network website, which we'll also link in the chat. Casey's put it there, perfect. And so that, if you're just in the thinking about, I want to study abroad, to planning that study abroad, how is that going to fit into your schedule, to funding your study abroad, the Career Enrichment Network also helps with liberal arts enrichment funding. That information is all on the website, as well as ideas about how to get involved with research. If you're interested in being a research assistant, check the website for some ideas of how to get involved, as well as the Nittany Lion Careers website, which we will discuss more in depth in a few slides. The Liberal Arts Alumni Mentor Program is another thing that's housed in the Career Enrichment Network, and that gives you the opportunity to be paired with a Penn State alum in your field of interest. So you would apply for that. And again, that application is on the Career Enrichment Network website. And they're a great resource for looking over your resume, helping you to decide if this is a field you're interested in. They were at Penn State, so maybe they know about clubs that are related to your major that you would want to be involved in. Additional things beyond that are Clifton Strengths, which again, we'll bring up a little bit later. That's an assessment you can take for free through the College of the Liberal Arts to kind of get a sense of what your particular strengths are that you could bring to the workplace. LA 103 is a professional development course for liberal arts students that is full for the spring, but will be offered again in the fall. And really goes through, everything from setting up a resume, creating a cover letter, helping with interviewing, networking, leadership, bringing in employer panels. All of that is involved in that LA 103 class. And then finally, in that area is Liberal Arts Career Week, which you guys are here today, which is fantastic. And as Stacy mentioned at the beginning, we have a lot, many more events coming up later this week that you should definitely check out. I mentioned funding earlier. That's liberal arts enrichment funding. You can get assistance with really any of these enrichment experiences. Again, that application is on the Career Enrichment Network website, and a lot more information. The FAQs for that in particular are really helpful if you're applying, so I recommend looking at that. And then finally, so Casey and I in the fall spent time making video tutorials to kind of help guide you through all of the different resources that there are. Nittany Lion Careers, which again, we'll mention in a few slides. But if you see the icon of an orange star, that means there's a tutorial. So we tried to kind of go through and on these slides, mark those, and you can find those on the YouTube channel, which Casey has put into the chat. All right. So now that I've introduced you a little bit to the Career Enrichment Network, I wanted to introduce you also to the people that make up the Career Enrichment Network. And so the three individuals in the middle, Susan Nell is the director, Katie Wysocki is the assistant director, and Lauren is the student and alumni relations coordinator. And they are all career coaches who you can meet with for career coaching appointments. Stacy is here with us today, which is wonderful. She's our program coordinator, and Jillian Belay is the communications and stewardship coordinator. And so she helps with marketing and helps to run our social media and emails.
All right, I almost started talking on mute, so I'm glad I fixed myself. But so now that we learned a little bit more about the Career Enrichment Network, so what is Nittany Lion Careers? As Hope talked about a little bit earlier, Nittany Lion Careers is a recruitment site specifically for Penn State students, alumni, and employers. And it also allows you to connect with different career development resources and events on campus. So within Nittany Lion Careers, you can search for and apply to internships and full-time positions that are posted. And you can also upload a resume as well as other professional documents and have a Career Enrichment Network coach review those documents for you and then also provide you with feedback that you can edit them with. And then Nittany Lion Careers also allows you to view information on and RSVP to upcoming events, such as other Enrichment Network or Liberal Arts Career Week events. So some of you might have been on Nittany Lion Careers to find this particular Zoom link. And Nittany Lion Careers also allows you to schedule virtual appointments with career coaches to go over anything from resume and cover letter reviews to internship searching, tips and tricks. And Nittany Lion Careers also allows you to report career outcomes when you either finalize an internship or job placement, which allows the Career Enrichment Network to know about your success and learn a little bit more about the opportunity that they might share with other students if they're interested in a similar field. All right. And then in terms of helpful tips and reminders when it comes to Nittany Lion Careers, we have video tutorials, as Hope mentioned a little bit earlier, on how to navigate Nittany Lion Careers and its different functions available. So if you saw on the slide before, there were a couple different stars. So we have different tutorials focused on how to maybe schedule a career coaching appointment or maybe look and search on Nittany Lion Careers. And those are all available within the Career Enrichment Network folder in the Penn State College of the Liberal Arts YouTube channel, which I made sure to link in the chat. And then within that YouTube channel, you can also find event recordings from previous Career Enrichment Network events, as well as workshops. So if you were unable to attend an event and you would like to watch it, you can go over to the YouTube channel a couple weeks after the event and it'll be posted there. And this one will also be posted eventually as well. So for whatever reason you want to rewatch it, or maybe there was a part you didn't quite understand, you can always go back and rewatch as well. And then another thing in Nittany Lion Careers is that you can also filter your searches very specifically. And to do so, you can click on the more filters under the search bar. And this can be a really good tool. However, it is something to be a little bit cautious about, because if you use too many filters, not all employers necessarily select very detailed filters in some majors. So you might accidentally over filter or over choose things. So for example, my Jewish studies major in particular might not show up on searches or be selected by some employers as a student that they're necessarily looking for, but I still might meet the criteria or be able to apply for that position. But I might have just chose too many filters. So just be sure to keep checking your search filters and keep them somewhat broad. And for whatever reason, if you're not getting the search results that you want, just to go back and make sure that you're taking out some of those really particular filters. And then finally, when it comes to Nittany Lion Careers, make sure you apply for internships and jobs early, because within Nittany Lion Careers, you have to upload documents like your resume and cover letter. But in order for those to be used in applications, they have to be approved by a career coach, which can generally take about 2 business days. So just make sure you're getting in all those materials early so you can finish the application and make sure everything's submitted on time.
All right, so next we wanted to talk a little bit about what career readiness means. So I know that is a very broad term. And so hopefully the National Association of Colleges and Employers identified 8 key competencies that they think are really important for you to be career ready. So we've listed that on this slide, and they are global and intercultural fluency, teamwork and collaboration, professionalism and work ethic, digital technology, leadership, oral and written communications, career management, and critical thinking and problem solving. And so again, those are still broad topics, but I think are kind of helpful in terms of considering maybe where you feel you have really strong skills, and maybe other places where you'd want to work on those. And on the next slide, we will kind of break down some ideas that just Casey and I thought of ways that you could work on some of these, but obviously there are many, many ways. But before we go there, we wanted to launch our second Zoom poll, just kind of, again, for you guys to think about what maybe are some of these key competencies that you want to focus on. So I'll give you a few minutes there. All right, we'll give a few more seconds. It looks like most people have answered. All right, yeah, so all across the board, some different areas of career readiness that people want to work on, particularly career management, leadership, professionalism, work ethic, I'm seeing. So that's great. I mean, for everyone, that's going to be something different. But again, I think this is just kind of a helpful way of framing things too, especially your strengths. Also, maybe if you're thinking about an interview or a cover letter or resume, something that you want to highlight. All right. So Casey and I, again, we just broke down 4 of these 8. Just to give you an idea, again, broad categories, but there are ways that we can break that down into more manageable steps that aren't kind of improving your digital technology skills in a day, but ways that you can work on that in a semester, maybe. In terms of global and intercultural fluency, obviously travel is hard right now and not available, but there's still really cool virtual opportunities that might be available to keep an eye out for, maybe a virtual international internship. Another thing that we have on the list is a program called PSU Global Conversation Partners, which is part of Global Penn State. And that matches a native English speaker with one or a small group of international partners, just to kind of have informal language practice. In terms of digital technology, as a Penn State student, you have LinkedIn learning courses available to you. So that's definitely something you could check out if you're interested in brushing up on a skill. There might be a course for that. In terms of oral and written communications, there's a lot for that. We all have to take a writing intensive course. So there's a start that's sort of already built into your course schedule. Penn State Learning has both speaking and writing tutoring. So if you want assistance from a peer in kind of improving the flow of your essay or your speaking style, that's a great resource. And another different way that you could improve on that is writing for a student news outlet. And then finally, in terms of teamwork and collaboration, I think that being involved with student organization exec boards is a really great way to build teamwork and collaboration when, every meeting with your exec board, you're working together with your peers to figure out how you're going to make the club work or different programs happen. So those are just a few ideas kind of to get you started on thinking about these smaller goals.
And then, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, we have some career to-dos at Penn State that we recommend. And in order to help you with your career development, we've created what we call the professional edge, or 4 main ways you can kind of advance your professional development or professionalism specifically at Penn State. And so the 4 main components include explore, discover, guide, and experience. And for each component of EDGE, we have identified the starting line or some easy ways to help you advance that aspect of your career development, and the extra mile or some more involved ways to push yourself a little bit more in order to advance that aspect of your career development. So for Explore's starting line, some easy ways to explore and better understand yourself professionally is to take and choose classes that interest you or relate to a particular field of interest. And you can also attend office hours and ask professors questions about their field or professional career. And lastly, you can attend virtual events hosted by the Career Enrichment Network and Career Services, including other liberal arts career weeks events, in order to better explore your professional career and options. And then the extra mile or some additional steps you can take to explore is to take, for example, the Clifton Strengths Assessment, which is free to all liberal arts students. And the assessment identifies your top 5 strengths after you do a number of questions. And whenever you have your top 5 strengths, you can learn how to continue to develop those strengths and maybe see how they work within your own career development. And you can also connect with alumni or other professionals in a field of interest and schedule information informational interviews or job shadows with them to further explore a job or field of interest, especially in this virtual environment. That's definitely something that's still pretty college friendly there. And lastly, as we've mentioned a couple times now, you can also check out some of the tutorials and content on the liberal arts YouTube channel to see what other opportunities, events, and fields that you might have an interest in looking into. And then in terms of develop, the starting line or some easy ways to develop professionally include first creating a resume. So you can use an online template or just find one on Word and craft your resume. And once you have done so, you can explore Nittany Lion careers and submit your resume for feedback, or even schedule a meeting with someone from the Career Enrichment Network to have one of the career coaches look over it. And then you can also use your resume to apply for internships and other job positions on Nittany Lion careers. So if maybe getting an internship, like we talked a little bit about earlier, was your goal, then maybe creating your resume or having it looked over could be some of those development steps to help you achieve that goal. And then you can also use Nittany Lion careers to look into upcoming events or workshops to further develop yourself professionally. And then another important staple within develop is to have access to a professional outfit. And once everything reopens on campus, you can utilize Career Services professional attire closet for a free professional outfit. But otherwise, in the meantime, you can kind of slowly accumulate professional pieces to use during career fairs, interviews, internships, or jobs. And especially now, you only have to be professional up at the top. So start with the top and then you can work your way down. But then additionally, you can also enroll in LA 103, a professional development course specifically for liberal arts students in the fall to continue your career development and really focus in on it. And then finally, the extra mile for develop. You can attend career fairs and interact with employers, which you can do so on March 3rd through 4th for Spring Career Days, which is the university-wide career fair, and also on March 10th for the Impact Fair, which is a career fair specifically for employers with missions to positively impact the world. And you can also partake in mock interviews through InterviewStream, a service available through Career Services, or even just practice interviewing with friends, family, or a mentor to help develop your interview skills and keep them sharp even when you're not interviewing, maybe right at this moment.
All right, so the third of our components we called guide, and some different starting line opportunities with that. Really with this, we're thinking about people and resources that can help you to define your career goals. And a great person to start with is your academic advisor. So if you're an incoming student, maybe not 100% sure what your major will be, or maybe considering a double major or adding a minor, something like that. They can not only help you to figure out how that works, but kind of within your academic schedule, but they can also help you to figure out, to map that to a career goal, and to make sure that you get the classes that are of interest to you on your schedule. The virtual Career Enrichment Network appointments, those career coaching appointments we were talking about earlier, are another great way to think about, again, mapping your major to your ultimate career goal, and also finding other ways to maybe work on some of the career readiness goals and things like that we talked about. Again, we've got a tutorial for that on the YouTube channel. So if you need help learning how you set that appointment up, definitely check out the tutorial. I mentioned the Get Hired website at the beginning of the presentation, and we have the link to that in the chat. Again, that has information specifically related to job searching and internship coach searching and graduate school decisions during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then another thing, kind of to get started with all of this, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, that's a really, really useful resource to have, especially as we're all virtual right now. It's a great way to stay connected with people you might meet at a networking event, or to follow companies that you might be interested in working for, things like that. It's one of those things like a resume, even if you don't use it immediately, it's great to have it ready for when you want to use it. In terms of the extra mile, I mentioned the Liberal Arts Alumni Mentor Program earlier. And again, that's a great way to have a guide specifically in your field of interest. So definitely recommend looking into that. Networking in general is very helpful, and be on the lookout for virtual opportunities, either through the Career Enrichment Network or through career services for continuing to network even though we're virtual. And then finally, this is new this year. Liberal arts, the college has started a peer advising program for first-year students, where there's College of the Liberal Arts students who can help to provide you with a connection to the college, as well as to kind of help ease the transition into college. And they have open office hours. So if you just search Liberal Arts Peer Advising, you should be able to find that website with their Zoom link and information on the students who are involved with that. Okay, so our last of the 4 components is called experience. And a great way to get started with that at Penn State is to join Penn State student organizations. So if you're looking for a new club to join, the Involvement Fair is actually starting tomorrow, running through Thursday. So definitely be on the lookout for that. In terms of some liberal arts college specific organizations, there's the Liberal Arts Ambassadors, which Casey is the president of, as well as Liberal Arts Undergraduate Council, as well as career-focused organizations that kind of might more specifically fit with your major. If you're in economics, you might want to check out the Economics Association or Women in Economics Society. If you're interested in criminal justice, we have the Justice Association. Those are really just skimming the surface of the clubs that are relevant to liberal arts majors. And I believe the liberal arts college website has a more complete list of organizations, and that's a great way to start. In terms of the extra mile, again, internships, study abroad, research, those are all really great ways to kind of find out if a job that you think might be for you or might be how you want to, what you want to kind of work in after you graduate. It's a great way to find out whether that really is for you, or maybe there's something else that you never would have thought you wanted to do, that you do an internship and find out that's exactly what I want to do. I just didn't know it was called this. One thing I wanted to highlight specifically here that I think is a really great resource that might not be as well known is something called Go and Global, and that you can access through your Nittany Line careers. It's included in one of our tutorials. And that's a great opportunity if either you are a student looking to work abroad outside of the United States, or if you are an international student looking for jobs that sponsor H-1B visas. Go and Global allows you to search for both. So that's a great way, a great kind of different job search website for you to use.
And just, we'll be wrapping up soon too. So this is just a reminder, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to put them in the chat and Q&A box and we'll get them answered soon or just towards the end. So just another brief reminder of that. But another resource we wanted to highlight are student profiles. So on the Career Enrichment Network and Liberal Arts website, student profiles are available for different opportunities fellow liberal arts students have taken in terms of internships like myself, study abroad opportunities like Fernando, and research like Kiara, which they're featured on my little slide over here. So student profiles are a way that you can see what other liberal arts students are doing or have done with certain majors or within certain fields, or just generally what liberal arts students can do with their degree or the flexibility in their degree. So feel free to check out the student profiles to kind of get an idea of that, of maybe when you're planning ahead, or even if you feel comfortable and maybe would want to reach out to some of these students to hear a little bit more about their experience. It's a resource that you can really utilize. And then similarly, we also have alumni profiles available, which are also available on the Career Enrichment Network and Liberal Arts website, like this one of Mr. McGabe, that can show you what liberal arts students in general or what liberal arts students with particular majors have done post-graduation. And also many of these alumni are also current mentors within the College of the Liberal Arts' Alumni Mentor Program. So the profiles might also encourage you to apply to the mentor program to be able to interact and learn from some of these alumni. And then you could also connect with them on LinkedIn too if there's of interest, but that's also another way that you can kind of see what some liberal arts graduates have done with their degrees.
All right, so next we wanted to highlight a few ways to stay in touch or up to date with what the Career Enrichment Network is doing. Um, a great way to do that is the YouTube channel, which we've mentioned several times. Again, either if you ever miss an event, maybe you have class, you're not able to make it. Most of our events are recorded, and as Stacy mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, you can go and find those usually a week after to rewatch those on the YouTube channel. The Get Hired website, again, we've linked that. It's a great way to have a treasure trove of resources available to you on one website, as well as Nittany Lion Careers for looking for events, signing up for appointments, and job and internship searching. We also have a couple of new ways to get in touch. The first of those is the text messaging option, and I've included the information for how to get signed up for that on this screen here. But another thing that that you can do is to use the live chat on the Career Enrichment Network website. So if you go onto the website, you'll see that little chat box icon that we've included on the slide, and you can use that to kind of talk, type back and forth with a Career Enrichment Network representative, one of our staff members.
And then we just wanted to thank you all for coming out this afternoon. And just another reminder, make sure to put your questions you still have in either the chat or the Q&A box so we can get them answered for you. And this is only the first event of the Liberal Arts Career Week. So please use the QR code or the link at the bottom of the screen to see what other events are happening this week. And just a preview of what will be going on tomorrow. There will be a grad school Should I Go panel from 12:15 to 1 p.m. Translating PhD training for non-academic careers from CV to resume from 3:15 to 4:30 p.m. And then finally, a virtual recruiting and networking workshop on how do I find a job or internship from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And for more information on those events and the Zoom links, check out them on Nittany Lion Careers. So yeah, thank you all for coming. And like Stacy said in the chat, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or Q&A box, or even just you can unmute yourselves right now if you would just want to verbally ask them.
That was great, ladies. Thank you so much. So it looks like there's a couple of questions coming in. Where can I find the recordings for these events? We will, maybe one of you guys can put in the chat box again, the link to our YouTube channel for the Career Enrichment Network that Casey and Hope mentioned. If you subscribe to the channel, then you won't have to go back and look and see, oh, when did that come up? You'll actually get notified, as I'm sure you all know, with YouTube. So definitely thank you for putting that in, Casey. So let's see, I missed another one here. Yes, the other sessions will be recorded if you are unable to attend them. If you've got a class or something, they will all be recorded. The only session that will not be recorded is the employer virtual recruiter office hours that are happening on Thursday. Those are one-on-one sessions. Those are not recorded, but the other 9 sessions will be. So stay tuned on the YouTube channel for that. Great, lots of thank yous. Feel free to unmute if anybody has another question that they would like to ask the presenters. But we really appreciate. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For the career coaching, what do we need to, I don't know, like, do we have to have a head start? If that makes sense.
Go ahead, Casey and Hope, if you would want to take this question.
So for the career coaching appointments, you kind of it's like a select the topic. So if you maybe have like an interest in mind, like maybe if you would want them to like review a resume or cover letter, it probably would be in your best interest to maybe prepare one or have someone have like a rough outline so they can look at it. But if you're maybe just interested in have some questions on maybe where to look for internships or jobs, that could be something that, if you have any knowledge of, you can bring it to the table, but that's definitely something that you can just ask. So you definitely, for some maybe topics, you want to have something prepared, but you don't necessarily need to. It's just kind of whatever you would like answered or whatever you kind of want clarified.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Tiara, if you have questions, just like it's maybe a quick question, it's not necessarily something that you want to speak with a career coach and make an actual appointment for. As the ladies said, you can also use that live chat feature. And our email address is for the network inbox is lanetwork@psu.edu. So just a couple of options to reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you. More than likely you'll get me on that, but or you may get Hope or Casey. So so definitely feel free to ask those questions.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Perfect. Thanks, Casey. Anyone else? Okay. Well, if no further questions, if you do have questions after the fact and you're like, oh, I wanted to ask that, again, check us out on the live chat or also the network email that Casey just put in the chat. We'll be glad to help answer those and get back to you just as soon as possible. So, and check out the QR code, scan that, make sure that you are seeing the other events for this week. So we'll look forward to seeing you all again. I'll go ahead and stop the recording here.